Welcome to everyone. Welcome to Conversation in Consciousness. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world, to people who are watching currently and also to the people who will be watching this in the future. My name is Gina Charos. I'm an Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator in not very sunny Melbourne at the moment. And my co-host is...
No, there's not. There's Sam. I was just jagging with you. Hello, everyone. My name's Mark Kerr. I'm also an Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator, and I'm coming to you today from the freedom of beautiful Queensland in Australia, where we can still roam around with the only thing on our mouth is bad language. So there we go.
That's so awesome. In Melbourne, we're sort of a little bit tighter in restrictions. We have to put a mask on, but that doesn't stop us from being really crazy when we go out and follow the rules at the same time.
Exactly. And you know what I love? We will get to all the proper stuff, but I love about this thing is that I took my headphones out because we were doing stuff before, and I put my ears in and I started talking, but it wasn't plugged in, but it's all plugged in now. So we're talking.
I was going to say, the wonderful thing about that is we don't make ourselves wrong. We actually crack ourselves up. And
exactly.
that takes the sting out of how silly we can be.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So what is the stuff we're talking about today?
Tonight we're going to cover a topic which I love talking about, and it's so broad and it includes everyone. It's that simple thing of being you.
What is that for you, Mark? What's being you?
Oh, being me is being easily distracted by everything else going on around me. Look, being you to me, it's that place of when stuff's just fun. When stuff's just fun, and it's an energy which is just pumping through your body, which you can't describe, but I don't know if you're invincible. I always use an analogy because I live up here on the beautiful Sunshine Coast. When I go for a swim on these winter mornings where you get in and I come out and it's just like, where you've just got an energy in you which you haven't judged yourself. You know, in that couple of minutes you were out there, you were just enjoying everything. There was no judgment, there was no barriers, there's no what if, what's that, what's this. It's just a space where you're just so energized, and I don't mean energized as in I'm going to run a marathon. It's just space, it's energy, it's being you, if you can use what we're talking about to describe what we want to talk about. It's that place when it's you. When it's you. So,
and do you know when you're not being you, like when you have that expansive, joyful energy and you're coming off the beach, out of the land, out of the water, is it very apparent when you're not being you? I feel like I'm a news presenter today.
You do.
I'll start asking you questions.
Of course you do. To me, it's those times, it's those funky times where you know, you may have judged yourself for something which is probably totally irrelevant anyway, where you've withdrawn yourself from whether it be a situation or people. And I use the word energy again, but it's that time where you just feel heavy. You know, it's not a space of joy. It's not a space of, we use the term lightness a lot too. It's just not a fun place. And I get that a lot of people live in that not fun place of being you, and you know, that could be for whatever reason, whatever's going on in your life. I mean, you know, as amazing as family is and friends and work colleagues and all that sort of stuff, quite often they're not as fun as what they're all supposed to be. So anyway, but my turn to put on the newsreader thing. Welcome to the program tonight, Gina. Being you.
Thank you for having me.
Well, welcome. You're welcome. Being you, what is that for you? If you've got any not situations, but those times where it is just that, where Gina is just unstoppable. And
yeah, so being me, I think really early in the piece, I really didn't know who I was. I grew up wanting to be a good little girl, and we went through primary school and secondary school and university a couple of degrees later, you know, did what everyone expected me to be. And somewhere along the way, I think I lost who I was and who I really truly was underneath all the roles that I sort of took on. And about 10 years ago, I came across this book, Being You, Changing the World, and it literally changed everything. And it's written by Dane Here, who is the founder of Access Consciousness, and I got him to sign it. And back then, the signature said something like, this is 10 years ago, by the way, so sorry, 9. Gina, now's the time for something completely different. Are you ready for change? And I took this home because it was a Being You class in Noosa, and I went, I don't even know what that is. And I was really fresh to Access Consciousness. So I started to read it. And guys, there's going to be a link down below if you would like to have access to this book, Being You, Changing the World. And I started to read it. And what that did for me, I was raising a very young family at that stage. I started to question everything that I told myself that I was. That was, at the end of the day, made me very heavy. And I literally just followed the rules. And I was a very aware child. I sort of squished that awareness down into listening to what I had to be and what I had to do and all the rules and regulations and so on and so forth. You know, the drill, you know. Never wanted to be a bad girl. But the point about being you is that you're never right and you're never wrong. You just uncover your strengths. You uncover what you thought was your wrongness is possibly your strongness. So I have a capacity to be super aware, as I think you are too, Mark. I think that's a, yep. And we sorry.
No, I was just going to say, and for me, I'm going to say the thing, but it's not the thing. It's what we're talking about tonight. Being you, we've put some descriptions or things which give us that. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, it's an ever-changing thing. And it's not as if anyone who's listening to this has to go, well, I've got to go to the beach in the morning and freeze my ass off or something to be me. But it's an ever-changing thing. And just because something brought you joy at one stage in your life doesn't also mean that by sticking to that, you're always going to be happy. It's a constant thing of choosing. And look, I'm even going to say, this is a 6 o'clock time slot, so I'm going to say,
you can say it.
No, I'll say be good. And getting things wrong, and you know, if you're like most of us, you'll judge yourself for getting wrong, and then you'll realize, hey, let's just get on with this, and actually create and be something which gets you back to that space again of joy, of fun, of that energy, and not operating from that place where we talk of judgment and sort of exclusion and all that type of stuff. So it's forever changing, and we use the word choice a lot too. You can just choose something new whenever you want to and create that.
Well, your choices aren't set in concrete, are they?
No, that's the thing. They're not set in concrete, and we don't have a limited amount of them. That energy and the choice thing, it's not like, you know, when Gina finished 2 university degrees. How cool is that? I never knew that.
I know. And I've studied so many other modalities. So there's like a number of initials at the end of my name, which I never own up to. But yeah, we're multitasking, multi-talented. Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. The things you learn when you have a chat in front of, what do we got? 6,000 people.
A billion people.
A billion people. That's amazing.
That's my target.
Exactly. But what I was saying is it's a resource which never dries up. Choosing and the energy of being you, and it's forever changing for what you're looking to create in your life. So, and who you want looking to create with, you know, because I also always refer to the word invitation a lot, because that's what's created a lot of change in my life. When you hang around people who have that, oh, look, they're just having fun. It's more infectious than COVID at a Melbourne nursing home. Okay, it's that space.
You heard it here first, folks. You did.
That's right. It just,
well, you know what Gary Douglas says? Laughing heals the planet. Laughing shakes things up and doesn't make things significant. So what if we could choose to be all of us in all of our silly glory, wherever we're thinking we're getting it wrong, like choosing that energy that Mark's choosing, and whatever it is for you in the morning, during the day, at nighttime, whatever your routines are, what if you could choose one thing every day and go for it for about an hour or 20 minutes? I know some of us use the excuse that we're time poor, but what if we started to calibrate that muscle of awareness and started to choose what felt light for us? So here's a tool in Access Consciousness, which, I mean, we've got a myriad of tools, so you just need to go to accessconsciousness.com and there'll be a heap of videos and classes that you could take. But with the heavy and the light tool, this is what actually got me out of being wrong and judging my awarenesses as wrong, is I calibrated my barometer, my internal barometer of what I thought was fun and wasn't fun. So if something felt really light and it was joy, and it kept expanding into this hysterical bubble of, oh, this, I would choose that. Even in the face of it not looking normal or no one else is choosing it, I would choose that because it was true for me. And the complete opposite, if something was occurring and I had to make a choice in that 10 seconds and it had this contraction or a heaviness to it, I knew that it wasn't true for me. So we're not talking about what's right and what's good and bad and wrong and whatever a point of view is. It's just like, okay, so what is true for you? So if we started from that actual point, we would go jump in the ocean at 5 o'clock in the morning and have a swim if that's what your body required, or not. You would know. So whatever creates joy for me, I actually follow me. And just because we're all in this community, I have a family, we could all be looking at the one thing, but if that one thing does not light me up, I don't go there and I don't make myself wrong for it. That, I had to really work at that. And that's being me in the face of what everyone else is choosing. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. So far, I'm having a lot of fun. Just saying, if you take some of these tools and you would employ them, you might create something different.
Exactly. And I love doing these lives and Zooms or StreamYards with people like Gina, because they use words like calibration and stuff like that. It always raises the intelligence level of our audience as well. So
I did have 2 degrees in the teaching, like a diploma and a bachelor's. So I'm not out to teach anybody anything. Just the language just flows, Mark, and I'm having a lot of fun with this with you and with everybody else. So part of being you is to not take yourself so seriously. And if you see the joy in every choice that you make, hey, sometimes we all stuff up. We really truly do. Just look at that choice and go, not the brightest choice I could have made. I'm going to choose something different. And that's how you actually can keep your head way out of the conversations that are going on around you right now, instead of buying into the trauma and the drama. And things are that they claim it's pretty serious here in Victoria and Australia and all over the world. And what if you don't make light of that? What are you aware of? That's the question I keep asking myself. So if I'm aware of a different possibility, I keep myself out of the anxiety and the stress that everyone else is tapping into, because here's another news break. I feel like Kermit the Frog. We are very psychic. We are always aware. And then sometimes when we buy into the stress and the trauma and the drama, it may not be ours. Has anyone ever told you that?
No, and I only thought psychic people used to live in a tent and had like a what's one of those?
A teepee. Sorry, I just snorted. I'm having too much fun with it.
I was going to say a mirrored ball, but that was you at the nightclub 20 years ago or something. One of those.
That shows our age.
Yeah, that's it. And just going on from what you said, Gina, trusting knowing what you know, because it's those times, and it doesn't have to be COVID related. It can be with regard to anything. You might be in a situation where there may be a choice to make, or something's going on around you, and it's that time to, I suppose, make a choice or something like that. But you've got, I don't know if it's that gut feeling where there's something going on where you're like, I'm not just going to follow the crowd on this one, because there's something going on here which I actually know. And if you're willing to trust and know what you know, you're going to actually create the life and the reality which is true for you, which if in turn, you keep following that energy of what's true for you, you're going to be you. So
sorry, do you want to hear the funny thing about that? Is that when you start making those different choices, and then I start making those choices, and then others start making those choices, our playground increases, our happy quotient increases. So this is what you were talking about before, where you get to play with some very happy beings, and maybe some not so happy beings, because sometimes we choose some stuff that maybe not so quite right. But your playground increases because people are starting to choose what works for them, regardless of what's going on around them.
Exactly, and that's where the title of the book comes to. Be You, Change the World. It's that thing where there it is again. And thank you to the amazing tech guy who, from what I know, he's looked after all of these clearing nights and a lot of stuff going on in the company at the moment. Percy. Oh no, Percy helps too, but Yucko, Mr. Yucko Jabeur. So thank you very much for that. Yeah, like the book's called, Be You, Change the World. And it does. It only takes that one person to choose what's true for them, what's fun for them, to create that reality which they want to live in. And it's an invitation for others to do the same. And on a serious note, because I get the COVID thing's not that much fun for a lot of people as well, but you infect one person with the happiness of being you. They take it on, and it just builds and it builds and builds, and that's it. Be you, change the world. If everyone's just willing to be that, and with no point of view of how that may look to people on the outside, and I always use the term with how that may look to your family or your partners or stuff like that, because from my experience and from what I see around, there's so many people dulling down themselves to fit in the reality of how I'm supposed to be, because I'm a husband, I'm a boyfriend, I'm a wife, I'm a father, I'm a parent, I'm all this sort of stuff. And all those things are choices which people have made. And those are still the choices where if it's not that much fun, you can always make another choice on things too. But by being that invitation, it changes the world. So, yeah.
True. One of the other things that really I actually got, and for someone who does have 2 degrees, when I first came across these questions, how does it get any better than this?
College.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So, we all know a trade. So how does it get any better than this, and what else is possible? They're 2 very generative questions that are very open-ended. That opens up the doors to possibilities. For someone who can put words together, I honestly could not string those sentences together because they did not make any sense. They weren't logical. No. Having a question with no answer did not compute with the teacher brain. It seriously didn't. So I put sticky notes all over my house, my windows, my mirrors, to train my brain to ask questions that did not have an answer. How does it get any better than this? Wow, we can ask this question whenever we're having a fabulous time, and the universe goes, what? She's asking for something a little bit more fabulous than this? Okay, bang. A possibility opens up or 2, and you go there. Yeah?
Totally. And like you mentioned when you started using those 2 tools or questions, being able to use them and I suppose ask the question and not going back to that linear mind of jumping to the conclusion on how this is going to turn up. or how it should look to turn up, or if I do this step and then I go to that step and then voila, it'll be there. So that's something which I'd love to say I never ever go back there. I ask a question and I just put it to the universe. But look, getting to that place of being able to ask the question and just trusting that the universe will have your back, and that other tool we always use, it never shows up how you think it's going to show up. And I know quite a few people, and I think you were as well. We did a live or one of these things where people I know have asked for a new car, and they think, I don't.
Oh, that was me.
Yeah, I don't have the money. I don't have this. I don't have that. And next minute, as you know, it's no one really desires to have a car accident. But if you had a little bingle where everyone's healthy and all that sort of stuff,
it was considered a write-off, but it was tiny.
And what did you get out of that?
A brand new Audi. I know, or was it a Volvo? And you cut me hardly any slack with that. It was a sporty one, by the way.
Oh, that's right.
That one.
Have bowls hats in the back window, did it, or the tissues?
Oh, no. But you know what happened? I was really tired there was stuff going on with the car, and I really wasn't asking any questions around it. We were looking at, our finances and the timing. And then one evening as we were going out for dinner, I just went, that's enough. Universe, what would it take to have a car that is reliable and sporty and sexy, and I can just jump in and feel really amazing driving from A to B, and literally 20 meters up the road someone just flew across the bend and had a head-on collision. And because we were going uphill, we were only going like 40 k's. It was almost a nothing, but it literally did enough damage to create the car. So I think when you ask these questions, if you know that the universe is actually listening and you are asking a question regarding something that you would like to have, if you look at how many points of view you have, so when you ask something and the distance between you and what you receive in your hand is your points of view. So if you didn't have a point of view about how it shows up, you might surprise yourself.
And it was on the way to dinner. It wasn't on the way home after 17 Chardonnays, was it, Gina?
No, it was a classic, clear-cut, sober question. It works either way, by the way. Yeah, exactly. Whether you've had a couple or not, you can still ask questions. So.
But you shouldn't drive. That's the point I was getting.
I wasn't driving. My partner was. So that's so funny. So let's have a look. We've got a few more minutes to go. Just before we wrap up, and I know we've got a few more conversations, I just wanted to pop in that these conversations in consciousness, they are something that the Access Consciousness Australasia team has put together. And every second night on the odd night, so today's Wednesday the 29th, the next conversation will be on Friday on the 31st with Percy Vanderberg and Viv Adcock. And we had a really good laugh just before because the topic is being easy and not cheap. And knowing those two, I think that might be a cracker of a conversation. But looking forward to that.
And it will not go below the belt at all with those pair. It'll all be being easy, not cheap.
Really, yeah.
Exactly.
Straight-laced, no fun, just too serious.
And like, I mean, we've both done the blatant promotion thing here. If you haven't, Dr. Dean here, Being You Change the World is the book we've been talking about. One of the things I love about this book too, Gina, is it's available in audio, because I actually don't mind reading nowadays. I was terrible at that as just a wee young lad. Yeah. And it's the sort of thing now where you just bung the headphones in, and to me, sometimes it's not an excuse to go for a walk, but it's the sort of thing where I found you put the headphones in and an hour.
Move your body. Yeah.
That's it. And an hour's gone in no time at all when I'm on it's not a Stairmaster. It's one of those things Captain Kim used to. No, not one of them. But you go for a walk and you're always hearing new things, because I know I've attended quite a few actual Being You classes with Dane. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I'm going to do a blatant flog again. Being a facilitator in Australia, we've got a few. I know Wendy Mulder has a class coming up. I suppose it's going to be live and online, coming from downtown Perth, I think. So if anyone wants any more information on that, Living with Ease, I think, is Wendy's website. Jump on there and have a look. But the Being You audio book, and I suppose the other book, no matter how many times you've read it or listened to it, and we say it a lot with the classes, you're always going to hear something new, because you're always making new choices. You're always at a different place in your life, and
you hear something different nearly every time.
That's it, because you get it when you get it, and when you're actually willing to hear something else, well, that's when you get it, because so much stuff, like, I think I'm pretty slow on the upload sometimes with some things, but when you have those moments, it's totally life-changing when you actually, I'm not going to say make sense, but you just get something where
you get it when you get it when you get it.
That's it. And it's that energy, like the aha moment. And then if you follow that energy of the aha moment on what else is actually possible, with whether it be creating your life or whatever's going on for you, and don't have a point of view on how it's all going to show up and that type of stuff, man, your world's going to change.
Absolutely. And one of the things about Being You that we haven't touched on is about trusting you, trusting what you're aware of, and truly, truly, truly acting on what you are aware of, and getting out of the wrongness. I think maybe we did touch on this topic, but
knowing what you know, I think.
Knowing what you know, yeah. And if you have children, actually, it works with everyone. I was going to say, if you're young, that's great. If you're not, too bad. No, it actually is pretty awesome. These tools work for children right up till whenever.
If you don't have children, go and get some. Just get into
maybe
it.
Not. Maybe. Maybe not. But actually, when I did start tapping into this and I started to use these questions and use these tools within Access Consciousness, I started this holistic journey learning all these modalities, because I thought, I have got young girls, I really would like to teach them something, And then when I finally got Being You was about putting into action and putting into practice every single moment of your day, every choice creates something greater. I could not teach this to my girls. I got that I had to be the tool. So I had to learn to use the questions, not look for the answers, trust my awareness, not cut myself off for everybody. And someone actually said to me, are you willing to be the happiest person on the planet? And I thought, yeah, I am. And I can be very serious. Don't you worry about that. But I do look for the light. Pardon?
You've got 2 teaching degrees. That is serious.
Oh, I know. I'll put the serious face on and laugh too much. But I had to undo that teaching side to be present with my family. And these girls have grown up with these tools. So they've taken them into their primary school. They've taken them into high school. They've gone and done uni degrees. They're looking at relationships. They're looking at their body issues. They're looking at their friendships, looking at everything very different. So what if when you choose this for you, you empower others to be them as well?
Exactly. And when you mentioned kids too, I know it's in another favorite book of mine, Return of the Gentleman, which I present some classes with some amazing other lads, Hannes, Romain and Saul. There's a chapter in there as well about raising the next generation, and I love talking about it. Super grateful you brought that up, where everyone obviously had different parents and people around them growing up. Some people had amazing parents and family and I suppose role models, and some people didn't. So when you're fortunate enough to have someone who is actually using I suppose the tools, or living in that place of question and saying simple things like, what else is possible here? That's something which really excites me, being that invitation for the next generation. Because I mean, man, if the kids can come through knowing that anything is possible, no matter where you are in the world or with your life. Oh my God, we've got 15 seconds left. That's just going to change. That's just going to change everything. And how cool would it be? Like simple things like bullying and all this other crap which goes on at school. It doesn't matter if you're 100 or if you're in school now. And as a 10-year-old, there's so much crap which goes along with growing up. What if we could start changing the next generation to I suppose, even just be an allowance of what's going on and other people around them. So,
So be you, change the world. That is a possibility.
Get your book out, Gina. There we go.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Please join Percy Vanderberg and Viv Adcock on Friday night at 6 p.m. for a conversation being easy and not cheap. And we'd like to thank you so much for your time and the space that you guys have created for us to have this amazing conversation. Thank you, Mark. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Gina. And I'm so honoured to have one of Channel 7's feature newsreaders join me tonight on Conversations in Consciousness, and looking forward to seeing you in the real life skin at some stage too, Gina.
That would be amazing. I think I've missed the hugs with the people that we care about. I truly have. So when our borders open up, we're going to have some fun with some classes, I think.
All right, then.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.